amazing. Well, welcome, group 155. We were just talking earlier about where everybody is from, so we can go around, and since there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us, go around and just make this really informal, introduce ourselves. Tell me where you are. At the end of the discussion, I'd kind of like to talk about a time that we could do a Zoom meetup, so maybe some of our other friends can join us who are a little farther out. I think that's the most amazing thing about Seesaw, is that it is so international and so global now, which is huge, I think, and a lot of fun. So anyway, I'm Shelley Fryer. I've sent you a few emails. Yes, I am spelling challenged, so excuse it if I ever make a mistake. Oh, notifications coming in. But anyway, I am so excited for this. I've been looking forward to it. I spent a lot of time with the Seesaw Connect as a participant in the and last week, watching all of the great videos that were coming in. And I've never gotten to attend one live. So if anybody's ever done one of the Seesaw Connects live, they usually are around the time of ISTE. So I'd like to hear how it is in live, live and not virtual. If you just want to introduce yourself, tell us where you are. Some people suggested 2 stars and a wish. What are 2 great things that you love about Seesaw, and maybe 1 thing that you wish, or we can just make this really informal. So let me know what you want to get out of this, and we will make that happen. So Janine, you want to start from there?
Sure. My name is Janine Saylor. I have been teaching 3rd grade for 18 years. This is my first year switching to what we call STREAM, special area classroom. So that will be my new challenge this year. Right now, our school district is planning to go back on a hybrid schedule, but we don't really have too much faith that that's going to happen. I love some of the new challenges that Seesaw has given us, different things that we can do with it. I love the 10 pages and things like that. So we really helped us. In March, our went to the Seesaw platform for virtual learning. So it was wonderful.
Yay. I'm distracted by I've got my Seesaw class going on over here, making sure everybody is participating, and that's great. Yeah, and you are in Pennsylvania, but you're in South Carolina now. Wouldn't that be nice to be able to go and do that?
We went hybrid. My husband and I came down to South Carolina. We have a house there. My son lives down here, my in-laws. So yeah. I have about a year or 2 left, and then I'll be down here permanent.
Yeah, well, you have to take care of yourself too. So go someplace where you can enjoy and be around family. That's important. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Karen, you want to go?
Hi, I'm Karen. I am in Scotland at the moment. I live in Montefieth. It's tiny. I teach in Carnoustie, which is quite famous for golf. But I'm actually originally from Ireland, just to really mess that up. I'm really new to teaching. I'm just about to go into my 3rd year. A bit late to the party. I did lots of other things after my degree, and then I did a postgraduate, and now I'm teaching. So I've had primary 4, which is 8 and 9-year-olds. This year we've had to composite our classes, so it's a primary 3/4. So we're looking at 7 and 8-year-olds, I think. Yeah, which will be like 2 levels, teaching 2 different, which is just a nightmare. I'm not really looking forward to it. But the school I teach in is we call it a resourced school here. So it's children with additional support needs. So, and they're integrated into the class. So I've got some challenging students coming in, and I think I've got 3 with autism diagnosed, and 1 with ADHD, and 1 with fetal alcohol syndrome and visual learning.
Wow.
So quite a lot going on.
That's a lot going on.
Yeah, on holiday at the moment. This is our summer break. So we go back, we think, fingers crossed, on the 12th of August, but we're just waiting for the Minister for Scotland to decide how we're going back. Are we going back in bubbles? Are we going back all together? I've got an empty classroom waiting for me, stripped of cushions and books. It's going to be, it's just what it is. So I have to wait and see. New class that I've never met because of COVID. So, and an old class that I said goodbye to, which was just horrible. But hey, that's the life at the moment. So I'm on holiday, can't complain.
Yeah.
Still doing this though.
Holiday. There you go.
Met
Yeah.
another teacher this morning to do the handover. We did a handover on Zoom of my old class to her, so which is kind of hard to do. So, but there you go. Seesaw's fun. Speak about Seesaw. Seesaw's great. It annoys me that when you go into a text box and type a sentence, it doesn't put a capital letter at the start. It's totally minor, but it drives me nuts. And what else? There was something else I didn't like, but the new features will be brilliant because I've been doing lots of stuff on different platforms and then putting links into Seesaw, and it would be so much nicer to put that in. Like I got caught up in that Bitmoji classroom nonsense.
Yes. Okay, I wondered who are Bitmoji people because I'm not. But I wonder. Okay, we need to identify you people because y'all can help me with that. You can be my Bitmoji support group.
So that led me to Google Slides. So I've been doing a lot on Google Slides. But if I can just do that on Seesaw, that's going to make my life a lot easier. But yeah, I got caught up in that craze. You know what we're like, teachers. We just jump on the bandwagon.
And the choice board bandwagon. Yeah, it's going to make choice board so much easier.
But they don't do it. They do it all in one day. You know, they don't do it. They do it all in one day, or they just kind of ignore it. I think, but maybe that's my choice board's not up to scratch.
Yeah.
Mostly nicked from other ambassadors, it has to be said.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what's going to be the cool thing is like I think we all have our little space, even in the Seesaw space that we live in. So I think just stretching out and trying new things, you know, I need to get in the Flipgrid bandwagon. I haven't done that. So
all for that as well.
Yeah, that's one of my goals. So maybe y'all can help me with that too. All right, cool. Who was next? Tiffany, you want to go?
Sure. Hi, I'm Tiffany. I am in San Diego, California. I teach in a district on North Coastal San Diego. And I also am called a STREAM teacher. I don't know if what yours stands for, but mine is science, technology, reading, or research. So it's STEM with a few things added. So the reading and the research and the art, but a lot of people are already doing STEAM. So I love it. I've been doing it maybe 4 or 5 years now. So we're fortunate to have the program. It's been a little bit less fun digitally. You know, it's great to be able to build things in person. Regarding Seesaw, 2 stars. Well, I've loved the Connect, Seesaw Connect, all of the classes I've taken. I took everyone that was released the first day, and they're just so lovely. I also, another star would just be that the tools that allow student creation within, and it's a silly teeny thing, but I really just love that graph paper.
Yeah.
And then, I guess what was it? A stars and a thorn? What was it? A stars and a
wish.
And a wish. A wish. That's more lovely.
We're gonna keep it positive.
Yes, and a wish. I do agree. In the text boxes, the kids don't automatically capitalize, but they're used to having it auto-populated for them. But it's also as stated, a very little thing. So I'm really enjoying it. And then this summer I'm teaching extended school year. So special ed also, I started as a special ed teacher. So in the summer, so it's Ocean Week, because you might be able to see the little critters behind me. So I'll be leaving in a few minutes to start class, but just send whenever you want to make another time. So you indicated that we would do right. So I'll do my best. And that's that.
Yay. Well, another thing that I love, and then California, we've been hearing about California, about start times and virtual and going back and all of that. So,
yeah. So at the moment, it's county by county, and San Diego County is if you're above 5% positive rate, you can't go. So we need to cut our positive rate by a couple hundred people a day. And unfortunately, it's been going up and not down, which is a bummer because we were there like 3 months ago, but you know, you open up and people have a hard time resisting being in groups. But
totally well, and isn't that unique about this time right now is that from Scotland to Australia to wherever we are, Uzbekistan, COVID has hit us all. I mean, we're all through this, you know, together. It's craziness. Look at you getting your classroom ready.
I know, I gotta get my little fish I had an ocean piece of paper back here, but it wouldn't stay. So now I'm
Yeah.
just sticking these, and I can see if the school doesn't look that great behind
Yeah.
me.
Well, I started stapling into my wall, just like I do at school. Sometimes when you're not supposed to staple into the wall, but you do anyway because it keeps falling down. So even here at home, I started stapling into the wall.
Yeah.
Let's just tell them what's going to look like at the end.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks. Tabby, Sean, you want to tell us a little about what's going on with you?
Sure. I hope everyone can hear me. My internet connection isn't the best. So, yeah, I'm currently in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. Tashkent is the capital city. I teach at a small international school, about 500 students. We're an international baccalaureate IB school. We've been using Seesaw primarily as our platform for virtually everything when we went to our online environment in March, and we saw some. Seesaw has been wonderful, except we've found that there's some things that could be better done elsewhere, and so we're migrating somewhat to Google Classroom, but we still intend to use Seesaw for a digital portfolio for the kids, and still to deliver some activities, and so it's going to be pretty incorporated in what we're doing. So I'm hoping to find out a little more about it. Also, I'm interested to see if there are any upgrades or just modifications to it. So that's one big reason, and I'll be bringing this back to my team in the elementary class or school. Yeah, so like everybody, we've struggled with, we have a lot of our students that are spread around the world. In fact, I should have mentioned this. I teach grade 3, and while we have small classes, 1/3 of my students were spread around the world. So I had a very crazy, to do anything synchronously was a struggle. It just meant I had very long days, very early to get my kids in the US, and very late to get my kids that were in Seoul and Thailand. So
Wow.
it was kind of crazy. I was actually in Canada at the time. I just arrived here about 3 days ago, and so it was a big struggle. But anyway, and I found that Seesaw was very helpful, at least to do some things that try to rely on the independence of the students to achieve their different tasks and to show their thinking and so on. So it was very good.
That's awesome. Okay, I think that is great. And man, we're all in different places, not only geographically, but just in our use of Seesaw. I know that we've got some very experienced Seesaw people here, and it sounds like maybe some beginners, and also a lot of us who are trying to help our partners, our people that we work with, so we're leaders there and trying to help them integrate. It's fun to get into the different Flipgrid and Bitmoji and stretch ourselves that way. But it's also, I love what you said, Sean, about, teaching our kids to be independent. All of us got really frustrated that our students were using capital letters and periods too. That was a big thing with us. We kept going, do it again, but, that's just, I think, as we look at all of that, those are the challenges that we have, is trying to be the good teacher that we are face to face, being that good teacher that we know, and the skills that we want our students to have virtually as well. So in that, we are all on this journey together as well. So just set some like standards. What do we want these I don't want anybody to feel pressured that you have to do every activity. I know that we're all getting ready to go back to school. So, but I also don't want to squash anybody's enthusiasm. Like, yes, here I am. I'm finally talking to a bunch of my tribe. My husband always describes it as his tribe. He gets so excited when he's talking to people that are doing the same thing that he is and passionate about the same thing. So, but I do want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to get out of this experience what they want. So let's just go around maybe one word. And I think that's our next activity for tomorrow is even maybe one word. So we can start thinking about that. What's one word that, that maybe we want to get out of this Seesaw experience, or just one thing, so I can kind of gauge and make sure that maybe we can all have something, get something out of this that we are here for. Because again, we're taking up our vacation time, our teaching time, our everything time. So for me, I think it's just connecting with all of you. Sometimes I am in a school situation. It's a small private school. I've been using Seesaw usually as a loner by myself. I taught 4 years at a school for homeless children. So in downtown Oklahoma City, so 100% of my students were homeless. That's when I started using Seesaw because I wanted, and so I was alone. The other teachers weren't using it, but I was doing a lot of media at that time, and I needed some place to put my media or the creations that the students were doing. And so that's when I originally got into Seesaw. And then I moved 4 years later to the school I'm currently at, and it is like, I went to the extreme other thing. So I'm at now a private school, very elite, very expensive. It's probably the most expensive school here in Oklahoma, but total opposite. But again, I walked into a situation where nobody was using Seesaw. Nobody was doing anything. We did end up going Seesaw for schools, but nobody really ever used it because we were not a technology school. And so, but it was something at least I was able to continue. So I went from a one-to-one environment at the homeless school to a shared environment. But anyway, I have very rarely had a chance to collaborate with Seesaw users other than like on Twitter or Facebook. And so for me, I'm just excited to meet my tribe, other people that are using this. And so for me, I want to get out of here a connection that hopefully is not just about these 2 weeks, but hopefully just a support system where I can move forward. So anybody else?
I did put something in the chat. I'm hoping to get feedback. Maybe we can share lessons that we've created so we can get feedback on how does that look on a kid's side or a user side. So I know we're signing in as students, which is fine. I like that. But then also I wouldn't mind sharing some of my lessons and saying, hey, does this look good? Maybe I can put them in the library and you guys can look at them. But my class is starting, so it was so nice to meet you guys.
Great to see you too. Thanks for popping in. We appreciate it.
See you guys soon.
True.
All right, I forgot. I'm going to open my chat room. Yeah, we can use chat too.
In there.
Things to look at.
One thing
I think. Go ahead.
about is sorry, I just dropped my head. Strict people in our building. Not too many people were doing it until we went to virtual, and then we went whole building had to, but we still didn't have Seesaw for schools. We're using the free to the end of the year. We're going to be Seesaw for schools next year, which is amazing. But the transition from using it as a classroom teacher to a special area teacher, one that I need guidance with. I'm not quite sure if we're going to do my own classroom or if I'm going to be piggyback into every teacher's classroom. I'm curious to see how people do that.
Yeah, as a co-teacher, it's that whole teacher co-teacher thing, which just, when I watched our art teachers, we did kind of the same thing too. We had Seesaw, but not everybody was using it, but then everybody had to use it, and we have a lot of people also, Sean, that use Google Classroom with it. And blend that so we can talk Google Classroom and how it blends in with Seesaw as well. But I'm totally with you. The co-teachers, the art teacher, the music teachers, the PE teachers, you know, how do you manage hundreds of students when you're a co-teacher in a class, and how do you, you know, that,
You know, like tag a folder. Some of our teachers set up, like if they wanted to do an activity, like I had a teacher that just wanted to do a challenge, so she just set up a folder and called it that, and then it's easy for her to search and mark that work. Otherwise, you're going to have to go through 400 pages of my nonsense. So,
yeah.
but it's not ideal. I can't think how you would.
Like
Sorry.
when you could go through the journal and just click on the activity, and then it just shows you who answered your activity.
Yeah.
Like that. But I know what you're saying. I guess I've just always had my own Seesaw classroom, so I'm used to having, you know, I have to share my classroom right now for summer school.
Yeah.
No, like that.
It's changed, like the colors, picture. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
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 I don't like anyone else in my classroom ever. I don't even like other teachers coming in. I like to be with the kids.
Well, and what we
Uh-oh.
found too, when we had other teachers in our classroom, which we do but we're sectioned off. So I only look at my science stuff. I don't really look at the reading and whatever, but is even responding. When we had art teachers and music teachers popping in, they were responding and doing things, and like you never got a chance to approve it or see it. That was really frustrating. So I think from the beginning, I hope that'll be some of our conversations as we go back, and setting some parameters, and you know, who can do what and who can share what and who can look at what. We had to say, only approve your own things. Don't approve other people's assignments. And anyway, yeah, setting up some protocols for that.
And even with, we were just told that as going back as hybrid, because we're not a one-to-one school, we share, that only my first period of the day will get to use the computers.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, what?
How does
Yes.
that work? Yeah.
But so I don't even know if I'm going to have ability to let them do it at school.
Yeah.
I will let them do it like on their home learning days,
Yeah.
where I'm used to letting them use it all day long.
Yeah. Yeah. So many challenges. So many challenges.
Sorry.
Anybody else?
Well, I guess I haven't given my word yet, have I?
Oh,
I guess refinement. Just, you know, I mean, I feel like I'm a bit of a veteran with using a Seesaw, and just although I must say, I mean, I used it a lot during the year as well. I did, even from the very beginning of the year, we use it for some activities, because I always thought that there were some things that are better to get the kids online. They don't, you know, as much as I believe that learning happens, you know, students learn from each other more than they learn from me. I think there are still things that are more efficient use of everyone's time if they just do it online. There are some tasks. So once we identify those, you know, I've had my students using Seesaw from the very beginning of the year. However, you know, certainly once we went to a completely virtual environment, I mean, that's all we do. You know, it was really about you bringing how to incorporate Google Documents and other things like Flipgrid and Padlet and all these other tools, and bringing it into Seesaw. You know, and there were some struggles with that. And so what I'm looking for is to sort of reverse our thinking and use Google Classroom and bring Seesaw into Google Classroom instead. And I think will be a little more efficient. But yeah, so I just want to refine my knowledge of Seesaw a little bit more, because I do find sometimes it can be a bit clunky, and can be like, I don't find particularly it's a good way to assess for skills. But you know, it's something we need to think about how we use it, as opposed to, you know, thinking that the problem is with Seesaw itself.
Yeah, I like the way you said that too, because I think that was the beauty. Seesaw, even from the beginning, is so organic. It has started very organically, you know, just trying to get teachers and students to connect with each other. And I have always been amazed at their ability to continue to add tools by listening to teachers. I really feel like it's kind of like they listen to teachers and they want to, but it was never intended to be an LMS. It was never intended to be any of that. So I think the way that it does pair and play so nicely with so many other tools is definitely an advantage, but it's not a substitution for an LMS or something like that. And so I think definitely talking about how we can continue, one of the beauties is to integrate, you know, with these other tools that we like to use. I mean, certainly now Seesaw is trying to make it so that you don't have to app smash, you don't have to go to outside tools, but for those of us that want to and need to, I think that's great that we can figure that out. And Seesaw's always been really supportive of workarounds too, you know, finding ways to work around different things. So we can definitely, and then also I think in addition to sharing activities, I think it was Tiffany that said, you know, sharing some of the activities that we've created with each other and getting some feedback on that. But also, you know, Seesaw has a huge library of videos now. And I'm hoping some of the videos from the Seesaw Connect that we just watched and those presentations will come into the Seesaw libraries. So if we have a video or something that really was useful to us, I mean, who hasn't seen Chris Shiner's videos? I mean, you know, they're just, every time I watch it, I'm just like, oh my gosh, he must just sit around and do that all the time. But, you know, but any other videos or things that we think are, you know, inspirational or helpful, we can definitely share those things as well. So, I don't want to keep us all day. I usually with students keep our videos to about 30 minutes, our synchronous meetings. So anything else anybody wants to get out of this?
I didn't give a word, so I suppose
Yeah, go for it.
I'll go for it. Collaborate. How's that? I want to nick your best ideas and maybe share some of mine.
Amen. Me too.
Let's help each other.
Yeah,
Stop reinventing the wheel.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the other thing that I've been so impressed with Seesaw and the Seesaw library is that everybody shares into it. And then all of a sudden teachers started creeping in and people are like, no, you know, you can't do that, you know. And then the other day I was watching in the Facebook feed too, and they were like, everybody now is beginning to get paranoid because, well, they don't want to share something that was somebody else's idea. So they're documenting the name. And so I think we need to balance that out. It's open sharing, share, steal, nick, whatever, get everybody's ideas, you know, and yes, you know, give people credit if it needs credit. I'm not for stealing and not giving people credit, but I'm also not going to get so paranoid about that, that, you know, I think Seesaw should be freely shared and ideas should be freely used. And, and if people have an issue with that, then maybe they just need to get over it. I don't know. Maybe that's
maybe that's fair. Share the love.
Because I think
we're busy people.
So, and you know, I always make it to my own kid. In fact, when that first activity came in with Suvi, I'm noticing this myself as a student. I've not really had a lot of experience of being a student. So I'm not only a student in our collaborative class, but I'm on the teacher side too. So as a student, I realized I don't read directions. My activity didn't follow the directions that Suvi. When I originally started to put it out, I changed Suvi's and I was going to change it and put in my own. And then later I went back and said, I don't think that's what I was supposed to do. So I put Suvi's activity back in there. But I know I didn't read directions and follow directions. And so it is nice to see it from the student's point of view. So I'm bad about that. So I need to be careful. But anyway, so, well, I am super excited to collaborate with all of you and get your great ideas. I guess most of us, we're all third grade, fourth grade-ish teachers. It sounds like we have a lot of science. I'm a science teacher, streams, STEAM, all of that. Sean, what is your primary teaching?
Well, I'm a classroom teacher. I have grade 3 in an IB school, so
you do it all. Yeah.
Same here. We teach it all.
Okay. So you're all okay.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. And I used to be language arts, and now and STEAM or coding is my passion. That's what I really love.
Oh, I like it.
About science. Coding.
It's my new hobby.
I do a lot of coding with that. So, and that's good. Yeah, my students, my own personal, my two oldest have their IB degrees. So, from here, but I've never had the younger students IB curriculum. So I'd be interested in some of that. That's good stuff. Yeah. All right. So anybody else? Okay, let's talk times. So Scotland and Uzbekistan, if you had a time that you would, that's a little more doable for you guys, what would it be? We've also
So
got,
this time works for me. This is like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
oh, so it does for
So
you?
I do need to go make dinner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Feed my children. But yeah, this time's fine, or even a little bit earlier. But
Okay. So and I'm Central. We did 10 Central this time. What about you, Paul or Sean?
This time is good for me as well. It's we started at 8 o'clock here. So, but even if we wanted to go earlier for Karen, that's fine with me as well.
Yep.
I mean, I'm actually in quarantine for another week, having traveled here. So I'm in a hotel room.
You're
So
stuck.
I'm flexible.
Yeah, there you go.
please tell me you've got room service.
Yeah, well, we get meals delivered 3 times a day.
Wow. So does the school support this? Is just a personal question. Does your school support that, or is that out of your pocket?
No, there's schools paying for the hotel. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's nice. That's nice.
I think I'd like to be isolated from my family for 14 days. Is that possible in a hotel room with room service?
Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. I never anticipated all of my grown children being back home. I mean, I love it. I absolutely love it, but it has been a little different having everybody back home. So
they eat a lot in quarantine. That's all they do. Look for snacks. I've got 2
eat. I know, for real. And that's what I'm trying to decide too. When I do have to go back, what am I going to wear? You know, what am I going to wear?
I've got an apron so that I can put my hand sanitizer in it.
There you go.
Like a little bar apron. So
that is great.
Yeah, right, I am actually going to have to go, guys. I'm sorry.
All right. So, well, thank you, and that's great. We'll connect again.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Enjoyed that. Goodbye.
Bye. All right. So I will adjust the schedule. We'll see if I'll just throw out another time and everybody can join as they can. I'll see if I can pick up some of the other people in our group, so at least they have an opportunity to have some sort of face-to-face experience. I don't think we have to do a bunch of these, but maybe 1 or 2 more. So one in the beginning, 1 in the middle, and 1 at the end, you know, and join the ones that you can. And then we'll keep our conversations and stuff in Seesaw. Just add thoughts and ideas and questions into that. I set up some folders, but we can set up other folders as well.
Okay.